think Jerry Jones, the GM, does media training? We make our GMs. We always made our GMs do media training because they're in front of the media plenty. I did media training when I got into baseball because I was going to be in front of the media plenty. Media training is done by people who know what they're doing in several languages. You learn how to react, how to deal with something as simple as an IFB of a voice in your ear. For those of you not watching on Nothing Personal with David Samson YouTube channel or on the DraftKings Network, I have an IFB in my ear where Coca talks into while we are talking on the show. You can go watch broadcast news or any morning show or anything that involves people with IFBs, and you know that I can't say it's as cool as juggling or sword swallowing, but being able to talk and listen at the same time, something I could have used in many of my relationships, I would say. So media training is important. I don't think Jerry Jones does it. I really don't. He gave a rant to alldallas.com, ALLDLLS.com. A guy named Clarence Hill was doing a interview. Why Jerry Jones is being interviewed? Because we're about to start football season. We're a little over a week away. I think a week from Thursday. So we're 9 days away from opening day, NFL kickoff. I think the Chiefs play the first game on September 5th, Coca. The Cowboys love this time of year. Speaking from experience, and it's absolute poppycock, but the owners all pay attention to when Forbes releases the valuations of all the teams in a league, and they do it prior to the start of a season. Of course, that is the silliest time to do it, but let's not quibble about that. Dallas Cowboys worth $10.9 billion. The most valuable $10.9 billion. The most valuable franchise in the world is what supposedly the Dallas Cowboys are, which makes Jerry Jones the most powerful owner in the world, which means that if you are his GM, you serve at the whim of this powerful owner. The GM of the Cowboys is this guy they hired back, I don't know, more than 30 years ago. His name is Jerry Jones. He's a guy who didn't have much of a football resume when he started, but he's really grown into the job as GM and really has become the longest tenured GM in all of football. Working with an owner like Jerry Jones must be very difficult for Jerry, but the good news is that there's been great results. As a matter of fact, you may not know this, but the Cowboys won the Super Bowl in 1996, the year after the 95 season, the 2 weeks later, whatever the case is. So people consider it the 1995 Super Bowl. Do you know that's 29 years ago? Which is right on par. There's 32 teams in the NFL. You're supposed to win once every 32 years, supposedly. And he's done more than his share of winning. For some reason, Cowboy fans are distraught at GM Jerry Jones, but the owner continues to give him great votes of confidence. The GM signed CeeDee Lamb yesterday after protracted, long negotiations. Scary to think that the season could start with CeeDee Lamb still holding out. CeeDee Lamb accruing $3 million of fines. Don't worry, CD. Those can all be rescinded now that you've signed. You were on a rookie deal. That's the rule. I'm sure that you didn't realize that. So I'm sure that when you were holding out, you were pinching your pennies. 4,869. I'm sure, CD, during your holdout, you were pinching your pennies because of the great fines that you were had levied upon you. 4 years, $136 million with a $38 million signing bonus. Let me quickly do the math. Texas, no state tax. Let's say an effective tax rate of 40%, 38 million. That's 14, 12, $15.2 million. That's 23 net, roughly. If you got to pay the fines, you've got $20 million up front, not too shabby. You all happy in Dallas that CeeDee Lamb, his holdout's over? That Coach McCarthy's going to work him in slowly, going to start him in practice, hopefully have him ready for the first game? Yes. 4 years, 136 with guarantees of 100. Guarantees of 100. The second largest contract for a non-quarterback in NFL history. Give Jerry Jones, the owner, credit for overruling the GM and saying, sign this guy. Tuck him in over Jefferson and guarantee and under Jefferson and full notional value. If you can do that, GM Jerry, then we got ourselves a deal. I'm in like Errol. What do you think? Good signing? Everyone excited? Let's see what the GM had to say. Nothing. Let's see what the owner had to say. Ooh. I've done it all, the owner said. So I have an inordinate amount of confidence that if anybody can figure out how to get this S done, I can figure out how to get it done. I've been there every which way from Sunday. I've busted my arse a bunch. There's nobody living that's out cutting and shooting that can't give you a bunch of times. They busted their buttocks. So hell no, there's no one that could effing come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than he can. Who you talking about? Me. Who's on first? What's on second? Was that the owner giving the quote or the GM? Was that the GM talking about himself or the owner talking about himself, what he thinks about himself as GM? Or maybe it was the owner just talking about his own GM, thinking it's a totally different person. Like when he goes home at night as the owner, he says, God dang it, that GM stinks. The GM goes home at night. Maybe it's a different place. There have been rumors, who knows? But all those cases get dropped. Maybe the GM goes home to a different place and says, God, working for that owner is a big pain in my ass. But thank God I have a job because, gosh dang, we can't win ever. It's been 30 years. I still have a job. Sweetheart, aren't we the luckiest? Guess who's next to sign a contract with the Cowboys? Wait to see. Dak Prescott will not sign an extension before game 1 of the season.